Hi, I'm Jan Roberts from Key Leadership Institute in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'm a leadership consultant, speaker, coach, and values-based leadership specialist, helping people just like you to grow spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Now, if you're ready to stop going through life and start growing through life, you're in the right place. And today we're going to talk further into the videos I'm doing on the strength of the LinkedIn newsletters that I've been developing for the last nearly year and a half. And today I'm going to cover how knowing yourself is so important for your leadership development. So just let's get into it. But before we do, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you will never ever miss another episode on emotional intelligence, self leadership, values based leadership, and purposeful growth. So, as I said, knowing yourself before leading others. How important is getting to know yourself and your progress as a competent leader? Now, getting to know yourself is a foundational and crucial aspect of progress as a competent leader. See, it's the beginning of all wisdom, as Aristotle once proclaimed. Self awareness is a key component of emotional intelligence, and it plays a significant role in shaping a leader's ability to make informed decisions, build effective relationships, and navigate the challenges of leadership. Now, I've already done a video and a letter on EQ as well, which is part of this, but this is so important. This talks more about self-awareness. It's because there is many reasons why knowing yourself is so important for leadership development. And I'm just going to give you a few of them, in fact, probably about 7 or 8 of them, to give you an idea. And you don't have to implement them all and do something with all of them, but take out of it what suits you, because one size doesn't fit all. But we all need to take certain aspects into our leadership growth for our leadership excellence. The first one, of course, is understanding your strengths and weaknesses. Well, self-awareness allows leaders actually to identify, leverage, and stretch themselves in their strengths while acknowledging and addressing their weaknesses, or areas for improvement, as I like to call them. Now, this knowledge enables leaders to build on their capabilities and seek support or development in areas that may require some improvement. Let's put it that way. Now, we must always bear in mind that not every area for improvement requires major development, as some can be delegated to people who possess them as their strength, which indicates the importance of having a strong and diverse team. See, it's the awareness of those that is very important for leaders, especially. See, I always say there is no, if you've got an area for improvement, there is no point in beating yourself up on that area and trying to struggle through it if you have people around you who do that particular area very well. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, I get this, that at the beginning you're everything to everybody, so you need to upskill yourself a bit on certain areas. But the sooner you get the opportunity to delegate things to people who do very well in it, the sooner you can allow yourself to stretch further, get out of your comfort zone in what you do well and stretch further. But it requires, of course, a good bit of self-awareness. So the second one is effective decision making. See, leaders who know themselves well are better equipped to make decisions aligned with their values, principles, and long-term goals. Now, this authenticity in decision making creates trust and respect amongst team members. See, when it says to align with your values, if I asked you right now, do you know the 3 to 5 values that are your foundation that you will never negotiate with? Would you know them right now? That's a story for another day, but I mean, I just want to put it out there right now. See, building authentic relationships is also an important part, because it's based on a genuine self-awareness. See, because leaders who understand their values, beliefs, and motivations can build more authentic and meaningful relationships with their teams. See, that word values is coming back again. This authentic contribution is positive for your organizational culture. See, again, whatever kind of leadership we discuss, it so often comes back to your ability to build lasting relationships to increase your influence as a leader. As my friend and mentor John Maxwell always states, he says, if you're a leader and nobody is following, you're merely taking a walk. Now, it's a funny example and people laugh about it, but it's true. I know we're all leaders, so we need to all do our bit, and we're not going to lead everybody at the same levels, and we're not going to be leaders of countries or large corporations, all of us. But we all lead, and we all need to lead ourselves first. That's why it's important to know ourselves. The next one is adaptability and resilience. See, self-aware leaders are more adaptable and resilient in the face of challenges. They understand their emotions, responses to stress and pressure, allowing them to regulate their emotions and make rational, put my teeth back in, decisions, even in difficult situations. It's especially in difficult situations that leadership really comes to the fore. It reveals itself. So some personality assessments show how people respond under pressure as well as their leadership strength. Now, this information is invaluable when major challenges present themselves, and they will. Then we have effective communication. Wow. Communication is always vital to a vital leadership skill, because knowing yourself helps you as a leader to communicate more effectively by understanding how your communication style and message may be received by others. See, this awareness promotes clearer and more impactful communication. It also allows for leaders to include other people's styles in their communication, thus connecting better with those they lead, their peers, and their clients. Now, we might all have seen these memes where a leader stands on a rock and reaches down to bring people up. So even in communication, you need to understand yourself. What is your communication style? And birds of a feather flock together. So the people who are similar to you, you understand very easily and get on very well with. But it's the others, all the others, and especially those who are total opposite from you. So you actually need to first discover your style, because that's the basis of getting to recognize others, and then go where they're at. Don't expect them to communicate with you in your style, but communicate try to include communication in their style, so it makes them feel part of it. It makes them feel that you try to understand them. And then also motivation and goal setting. See, leaders who are self-aware can align their goals and aspirations with their values and passions. Now, this alignment actually provides intrinsic motivation, driving leaders to pursue their objectives and enthusiasm and commitment. See, as a values-based leadership specialist, I will dedicate an entire video to the power and necessity of values in leadership. I'll do that in the near future. I've already written the newsletter, so you can go to LinkedIn and read it there. But it is so important, because I also do a talk where values are the foundation of life, business, your leadership development, and your social environment. Those who have no values will fail. As my other friend and mentor Les Brown said, leadership has been failing for many decades because of a lack of values. And these are not some fancy things on the walls, but these are basic human values, which we'll certainly talk into, like listening and respect and forgiveness and those kind of things. So continuous learning and development is also important, because self-aware leaders are more open to continuous learning and personal development. They actively seek feedback, embrace opportunities for growth, and are willing to adapt their leadership style based on new insights and experiences. See, I just cannot stress enough the importance of intentional daily personal development. As a leader, or as any person for that matter, I just said already, we are all leaders and we can all benefit from continuous development. And in that word intentional is so important. It's not having good intentions, but being intentional, leading an intentional life. But when you are aware of what exactly you should focus on in that development, you become more effective in your personal growth journey. I'm sure that makes sense to every one of you. It makes sense to me. Then the last one I want to just point out is conflict resolution. See, conflict is inevitable in any leadership role. Now, but leaders who know themselves can navigate these conflicts more effectively by first understanding their own triggers and biases. See, this starts talking into, I've learned this in martial arts many years ago, that there is a big difference between reacting and responding. So if you know your own triggers, you know that you shouldn't just open your mouth, because whenever it's out there, you'll never be able to take it back. like you can never push a rope and you can never put toothpaste back in a tube. I've tried. But, it is actually that once you are aware of what sets you off, it really helps you, because the difference between reacting and responding, reacting is when you are open to outside environment, when somebody says something or somebody does something or something frustrates you, and you flip basically. But responding is when it comes from the inside, when you first, whatever happens around you and to you is not as important as what happens within you. That's what the quote is. And that's the difference between the two, because if you internalize it, what happens, and give it some thought first. Some people think it might be something, as George Bernard Shaw said a long time ago, 2% of people think, 3% think they think, and 95% would rather die than think. So thinking is not an activity everybody voluntarily participates in. But regardless, if you really want to think into something that happens around you or to you, and then you just get something ready, calm it down, get something ready, get some perspective from your side, and then talk into it. I hope that really makes sense, because this awareness helps in approaching conflicts with empathy and finding constructive resolutions. See, sometimes leaders have to invite other members of the team or even outside resources to assist in resolving issues in the organization. Now, with our Key Leadership Institute, we have been in such situations on more than several occasions to assist in solutions acceptable to all parties involved. My wife, Dr. Artie Moore Roberts, is also one of the foremost DEI specialists in the world. So I've had the pleasure of being in her training rooms and seeing people who just don't like each other. But when they understand that we're not so different, and when they understand to connect at a heart level and to start communicating and learning about each other, things change. But from the extracts of ancient writings and quotes by Socrates and other wise men and women, to a number of books written about knowing thyself, it shows just that this subject has been discussed around the world for many, many centuries. This actually shows that self-awareness is not merely a valuable asset for every person alive, but it is also fundamental prerequisite for competent leadership. Now, leaders who invest time and effort in getting to know themselves lay the groundwork for personal and professional growth, developing a leadership style that is authentic, adaptable, and effective in leading teams towards success. Will a self-assessment help? Well, it's quite interesting, because I'm also a behavior analysis consultant using Leadership Disc. And sometimes when people see the word assessment or test, they already become wary, as they assume this will put them in yet another box. Now, I explain in my Leadership Disc workshops and debriefing sessions that we've all been put in boxes since we were born by family and well-meaning friends, by teachers, colleagues, our seniors, and that we've actually added more than a few of those boxes out of our own as well. But getting to know yourself is for the first time that we can take ourselves out of the box because of it. Because when you don't know yourself, you take all these kind of things in. But when you know yourself, how you communicate, what your strengths are, what your areas for improvement are, all these kind of things, when you really get to know yourself, you take yourself out of boxes. You push away those walls and say, I know who I am. And that is a discussion all by itself, what comes after that. But I have the privilege as a behavior analysis consultant to train and work with leaders as well as entire organizations to assist their amazing discovery of self. And it is an absolute pleasure to see how people are so often pleasantly surprised by the results and explanations of who they are and how this can help them in their family life, their businesses, or even their social environment. And many are eager to put this into practice straight away. So I really hope that this is helping you some to get interested in getting to know more about yourself. How well do you really know yourself? That's the question I want to leave you with. But I really want to thank you for watching. And if you found value in this video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more content and to help you grow spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And also hit the notification bell so you will never miss another episode. On top of that, I would love to hear your thoughts. What stood out for you most today in this particular video? If you want, drop a comment below and let's start the conversation. And if you're serious about living a life of purpose and becoming a better leader, check out the links in the description for the resources, coaching, and ways to connect. Remember, you have a choice. So choose to lead with purpose, live with intention, and never stop growing. Until the next time, keep showing up for your best life because you matter. Take care.